revealing the history of Luang Pu Hong, a monk who was born and died on the same day. A venerable man whose name reverberates across boundaries lives in the center of eastern Thailand. Formerly the abbot of Wat Phetchaburi in Surin province, Luang Pu Hong Phrompanyo, with the family name Suwana Hong, was a highly esteemed Thai monk born into a modest farming family in 1917. He eventually arrived at Wat Phetchaburi, where he began his spiritual journey at a young age. Few people fully comprehend the depths of his compassion and the remarkable deeds that have made him legendary, even in neighboring Cambodia, despite the fact that many have heard rumors of his brilliance. He landed in Wat Phetchaburi, where he dedicated himself to spiritual practice and study. Young Suwana Hong was a diligent soul. As a boy, he was diligent and dutiful to his parents. He helped with all the farm work, from planting to harvesting rice, with great perseverance. At the tender age of 18, his mother urged him to become a novice monk, fearing he might get into trouble due to his hot-tempered nature. Despite being strong-willed and fearless, he agreed to his mother's request and decided to ordain for only 7 days. Then he embarked on a spiritual journey, donning the saffron robes of a novice monk and receiving the name Samanera Prumsan. Little did he know, a miraculous event was about to unfold, just 3 days into his monastic life. While meditating beneath the shade of a tamarind tree, a strange man and woman, both old and young, dressed as villagers, came and asked him to preach. Samanera Prumsan replied that he had just been ordained and couldn't preach. The strangers suggested, even if you can't preach, try chanting Namo 3 times, and you'll be able to preach. Intrigued, Samanera Prumsan followed their advice. Surprisingly, he found himself able to preach fluently. After finishing, the strangers thanked him and bid their leave. Samanera Prumsan thought of this astonishing incident for a moment, then he turned to look at the couple, but strangely, they had disappeared. Bewildered yet deeply affected, Samanera Prumsan rushed to tell the abbot. The abbot, his eyes wide with recognition, explained that it was a divine blessing, a destined dharma, that had awakened his latent wisdom. This wasn't just any ordination, it was the start of an extraordinary journey for the young novice. The experience transformed him. Realizing the depth of his potential, Samanera Prumsan resolved to dedicate his life to monkhood. At age 20, he was formally ordained as a fully fledged monk. What began as an initial plan to ordain for just 7 days evolved into a lifelong commitment that spanned several decades. They bestowed upon him the name Phrompanyo, a name rich with meaning. Phrompanyo translates to one with wisdom like Brahma, a celestial being akin to the Hindu god Brahma. In 1937, just 3 months after his ordination, he left his preceptor to go on a wandering alms round, living in the forest and subsisting on a single meal a day. He found peace and tranquility in cemeteries and studied various occult sciences in Kukan district, Sisaket province. After mastering these, he traveled to Phnom Penh, Cambodia, to continue his spiritual journey. The bravery and tenacity of this young monk were evident in the region's bandits and wild animals. When wandering through the mountains into Cambodia, a land well known as the ancient Khmer kingdom and a place steeped in magic and sorcery, it was through great merit that he encountered numerous spiritual masters. Upon seeing Phrompanyo, all of them were pleased with the humble monk, Hong's Phrompanyo. They kindly bestowed upon him various magical spells, those for metta, loving kindness, mahasene, great charm, and protection from weapons, guns, spears, swords, arrows, fangs, claws, tigers, and poisons. They also taught him to create sacred amulets and holy water. Even for those afflicted with madness, their spells could bring relief. One night, during a state of deep meditation, Luang Pu encountered a great celestial being who taught him to inscribe magical yantras with a pen, granting it immense power. After receiving this teaching, Luang Pu expressed his gratitude. As soon as he opened his eyes, the celestial being had vanished. As he wandered deeper into the jungle, a strange sight caught his eye, a dark, stone-like child, seemingly out of place in the natural surroundings. He pushed it, and it fell over. He pushed it again, and it grew to a height of 5 meters. The stone-like child then taught him how to create a kuman thong, a type of magical child amulet, according to ancient formulas. After wandering for nearly a year, Luang Pu Hong came across a village called Ban Kru. The villagers there spoke of many miraculous deeds Luang Pu had performed that they would never forget. Even after Luang Pu returned to Thailand, they still held him in high regard. When Luang Pu Hong visited them again at the age of 85, almost 1,000 villagers lay prostrate on the road, from the street to the village hall, inviting him to walk over them. He couldn't refuse their request, so he walked over their bodies. Even a 100-year-old man crawled out to pay his respects. The villagers' show of respect and gratitude to Luang Pu Hong was overwhelming. Luang Pu Hong followers were amazed and asked why the villagers revered him so much. The old man explained, "If it weren't for him, our village would have been destroyed. Bombs and grenades as big as melons fell on our thatched roofs, but they didn't penetrate. They simply rolled off. As we thought we were going to die. But miraculously, they didn't explode. We were so grateful. We even collected the soil where Luang Pu's feet had touched and made amulets out of it. By expressing our gratitude for what Luang Pu did, we were all saved. It was as if he had given us new life. We believe that his presence had protected us in that moment of danger. Therefore, it is no wonder that the villagers willingly lay down for Luang Pu to walk over them. They revered him as a deity. For not only did Luang Pu protect them, but he also practiced great compassion, digging wells and ponds, building dams, planting forests, and releasing animals. He strictly forbade the villagers from destroying forests, teaching them about the importance of forests and water. He taught the villagers to keep the 5 precepts and abstain from alcohol and drugs, promising them the protection of his teachers. Because of their deep faith in Luang Pu and their adherence to his teachings, they lived in peace and happiness. Upon returning to Thailand, Luang Pu Hong assumed various roles within the Sangha. In 1973, he was appointed the abbot of Wat Phet Buri. Subsequently, in 1976, he became the district religious leader of Thung Man. In 1982, he was ordained as an upasaka, preceptor, and in 1999, he became an advisor to the district religious leader of Thung Man. In 1980, he was conferred the title of Pra Kru Prasat Prum Kun. Additionally, in 1992, he was further honored with the title of Pra Kru. In recognition of his contributions, Luang Pu Hong also received numerous awards, the Outstanding Environmental Award in 1992, the Model Temple Award in 1993, and the Dharmachakra Award in 1994. Luang Pu Hong made significant contributions to society, particularly in social welfare. He donated funds to build health clinics and orphanages, supported schools, and established the Luang Pu Hong Phrompanyo Foundation. He was also a strong advocate for environmental conservation, donating to reforestation projects and wildlife protection initiatives. Luang Pu Hong was born and passed away the same day, March 5. He peacefully passed away on March 5, 2014, at the age of 97, having completed 77 Pansa, Buddhist Lents. After his passing, his body remarkably remained intact, a testament to his spiritual purity and the power of his practice. Luang Pu Hong, the miraculous power of metta. Luang Pu Hong was renowned for his miraculous powers of metta. While wandering to Pailan, Luang Pu Hong found the city in turmoil. There was a severe shortage of food, and bandits were rampant. A woman named Molly was the leader of one particularly notorious gang. Molly was a beautiful Khmer woman who had gathered a gang of over 50 followers. The Cambodian authorities wanted her and her gang for robbery. Though they often robbed the rich to give to the poor, their actions caused great fear among the wealthy. Molly and her gang would disappear without any trace when the authorities attempted to apprehend them. Desperate for a solution, the people turned to Luang Pu Hong for help. The venerable monk journeyed to Molly's house and began a meditation practice. When Molly returned, she was unable to enter her house due to Luang Phu's spiritual power. Eventually, Molly appeared before him. As she attempted to shoot Luang Pu, her hand was stuck to her gun. Luang Pu convinced her to surrender. Moved by his kindness and wisdom, Molly embraced Buddhism and abandoned her criminal lifestyle. The rest of her gang members gave up their criminal ways after witnessing her transformation. Another incredible tale. Up until he reached the border between Cambodia and Vietnam, a region that at the time had a strong communist influence, Luang Pu Hong continued his wandering. Many Southeast Asian countries had adopted communist ideologies, and Vietnam was no exception. The communist regime was vehemently anti-religious and had persecuted monks. About 50 Vietnamese soldiers were surrounding Luang Pu as he approached the Cambodian-Vietnamese border with the intention of killing and capturing him. However, when they lifted the mosquito net covering Luang Pu's bed, they found only his water pot, alms bowl, and medicine bag. Luang Pu had vanished. This reminded them of a previous incident in which Luang Pu had disappeared along with a female bandit. When they had asked Luang Pu about this, he had replied, "I cannot do that." He explained that it was something his teachers could do, but he did not possess such abilities. No matter how hard they searched, the Vietnamese soldiers could not find Luang Pu. Feeling compassion for them, he revealed himself and allowed them to capture him, thinking that if they were his past enemies or creditors, he would willingly accept their fate. However, if they were not, he prayed for their protection. As soon as Luang Pu appeared, the soldiers opened fire with their M16 rifles. But the bullets seemed to be repelled, falling harmlessly at Luang Pu's feet. Some of the guns even jammed or misfired. According to ancient texts, this is known as water-broken bullets, meaning the bullets became soft and ineffective, as if they had been soaked in water. Despite their attempts to kill him, the soldiers were unsuccessful. They eventually captured Luang Pu and placed him in an iron cage. They then took him out to the sea and threw the cage overboard. After some time, they retrieved the cage, but Luang Pu was still inside, unharmed, and his robes were completely dry. When asked how his robes remained dry, Luang Pu replied, "Because of my precepts. If one has strong precepts and faith in the Buddha and the Dharma, even if they fall into water, they will not be drowned." The soldiers were still unconvinced and threw the cage into the ocean again. When they retrieved it, Luang Pu was still alive. Finally, they gave up and returned to shore. They even tried to feed Luang Pu to a crocodile, but their efforts were futile. In the end, Luang Pu's Hong's spiritual power overcame the Vietnamese soldiers, who surrendered to him and became his disciples. Now, let us delve into the heart of the Venerable Luang Pu Hong Phrompanyo's incantation. Now let us chant the preliminary prayer. Before chanting to any Thai Buddhist statue or amulet, first, chant 3 times of this initial mantra. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
นะโมพุทธายะนะมะภะทะจะภะกะสะปะจะขะนะเมตินะโมพุทธายะนะมะภะทะจะภะกะสะปะจะขะนะเมตินะโมพุทธายะนะมะภะทะจะภะกะสะปะจะขะนะเมติ
If you are fortunate enough to own an amulet that the kind and compassionate Luang Pu Hong created, keep in mind to respect his teachings and lead a moral life. His benevolent spirit will undoubtedly bless you with good fortune and prosperity.